Monday morning. It's the 2nd of February, and this is the return of the at least daily live Monday. We'll see how these lives go. I started them a couple of months ago, December, and they worked quite well, but I was in a different location then, and things have changed. And I didn't want to start them too soon because this is something that I'd like to commit to on this channel. So if you don't know who I am, I'm Wayne and I'm the author of Broken Ceasefire and Return Fire. They're available on the Amazon bookstore or any good ebook platform. And a lot has happened really. The Disney, well not the Disney, the Netflix takeover of Paramount has really kind of heated up with court cases galore going in. And February as well is also the start of award seasons. So over the next week or two, I can chat about the Oscars and who's in line for what and what films are potentially going to be winners and losers. And as always, I quite enjoyed going through the celebrity birthdays. So I will be going through whose birthday it is today a little bit later on. So in the meantime, I thought we'd just get cracking with what I've been up to over the last couple of months, and things have changed. Now, initially, I was doing this from my workplace, and I was a caretaker in an abandoned home, and things moved on. I decided to get something a little bit more permanent somewhere else for the weekends, freeing up my time during the week to do the lives and continue the story of Echoes of Betrayal. Welcome and thank you. Um, I am a fan of Warhammer 40,000. Actually, my armies are Chaos, and I did dabble with Elder, but I had quite a big army of Chaos with Khorne Berserkers being Khorne being my chosen Chaos god. The 40k's actually progressed with the models. I've got an original Bloodthirster, which stands about that big, and I'll have to find it. And then obviously they remade the model and it's now quite huge. I'm looking forward to Henry Cavill's what he does interpretation with Warhammer. He's a big Warhammer 40,000 fan himself, and he's a stickler for the lore. I think it's a shame that they're now changing the lore with the Adeptus Astartes. Is it the by changing the characters? It's an evolution. Warhammer 40,000 and indeed Warhammer as a general has always evolved over the years, and I do think that some things should have a strict structure, and that is what they are, without bending to a whim. And I do feel that Games Workshop is possibly bending to a whim unnecessarily because it was already quite popular, and it was there for everybody. It was very inclusive without the add-ons of today's political climate. It'd be interesting to see what Henry Cavill does to it, because I believe he has got the creative rights, so he's going to be like the Kevin Feige of Warhammer, and it'd be really interesting to see what they do with that. If they can make it as good as what they've done with Fallout, I really enjoy Fallout. I haven't watched the second season yet because I want to binge it. I want to sit there and watch all of it in one go. But I thought they'd done quite a good interpretation with Fallout on Amazon. And if they can follow that up with 40k, you've potentially got a universe that could rival Star Wars in terms of depth of story, characters, where they go with it. I always find it interesting when they kind of say, oh, Star Wars is sci-fi fantasy because of the magic. And I often wonder where people sit with Warhammer, because 40k, if you like, has that magic with the different chaos gods and the mages. Some, Khorne is the one chaos god that doesn't use magic, whereas is it Snurgle, Stench, they have their own psychic abilities. But no one seems to criticise that. No one calls Warhammer 40k sci-fi fantasy, not to my knowledge. So yeah, looking forward to that. And Fallout, I was really enjoyed the Fallout games, and I thought season 1 of Fallout captured the essence of the games. It had that humour, the environments were really good, special effects were great. Hi, and welcome. And we shall see with 40k. Incidentally, there's been a few pictures of Henry Cavill out on the set of Highlander, and this was filmed, or the pictures were taken more recently at the Tower of London. And Mr. H done a great kind of in-depth thing. He's one of the people that I do follow here on YouTube, Mr. H Reviews, because he's quite balanced with it. I also enjoy Nerdrotic for the humour side. And so they've got some pictures of them filming Highlander at the Tower of London, which is pretty cool with the depth of history that the Tower of London has. And I do wonder whether or not they will go up to Scotland and do the same there, because part of the story, chunk of the story, is set in Scotland. So that would be pretty cool to find out. If you've got any questions for me, or want to interact, feel free in the chat, and I shall do my best to answer them. So what I did do when I was doing these on a more regular basis was celebrity birthdays and things. So I'm just going to try and bring up a few. I'd done a TikTok series with celebrity birthdays, and it was quite interesting. You really kind of have to delve deep sometimes because the information isn't always accurate. So I will bring to you, as best as I can, celebrity birthdays for today. And you'll have to excuse if today's a little bit disorganised with what I'm doing, because this is one of those things. Do I do a live? Don't I do a live? Do I? Don't I? 7 8 8 7 7 8 7 6 7 6 7. And I thought, no, I've got to do it. Take the plunge, do the first one, and get back into the swing of doing the lives and chatting to you guys as well. So yeah, a little bit disorganised, but I will be more organised as things progress. So celeb. There you go. Chat amongst yourselves. That's what they say, isn't it? And sometimes you go on these websites and you're looking specifically for like actors' birthdays, and then they'll say, oh yeah, it's all these actors, but then they'll give you some of online celebrities, like this person's got 50,000 followers and it's their birthday today. And that's not really what I want. I want people who are more recognised than the niche of Twitter and all that lot. So the other thing, what really bugs me is you go on these websites and they say, we care about your privacy. Your privacy means a lot to us. Please sign this form so we can gather data and sell it to a data broker, because we care that much. Reject all, save and exit. So apparently Shakira is 49 today, 2nd of February. Yep, the Colombian-born singer. So she's 48. Who else have we got? Tom Blythe. Not familiar with Tom Blythe, actually. He's 31, English actor. What has he been in? Because this is where I start off. Start off with the birthday. Tom Blythe. I'm not familiar with what he's been in. So we'll Google what he's been in and see if it's anything we all know about. So what is he in? He's in, oh, The Hunger Games. Ballard and People We Met. Billy the Kid. Billy the Kid, there's redoing, or not redoing, they're coming up with another Young Guns. Young Guns 3, apparently. They've got all the crew back together. And I quite enjoyed the first two. A little bit, well, based on, obviously, the Wild West and Billy the Kid. But they kind of, you have that creative license with the stories, with things like that. And it kind of gives you the impression that Billy Kid, I think it was Billy the Kid, was still wandering around the desert in the early 1900s, which, of course, he wasn't. So he was in the Hunger Games Ballad 2023. So that was the new one, wasn't it? Ballad of the Songbird, which didn't do particularly well at the box office, did it? Peter Dinklage was in that, Hunter Scaver, Rachel Zegler. The prequel to the Hunger Games series. So yeah, feel free to ask me anything. I'll drop down to one viewer. That's fine. Robin Hood. Was he in Robin Hood? He must have been young in Robin Hood 2010. I didn't realise that. Robin Hood was quite a pretty cool film. Yeah, pretty cool film. Oh, I liked that one. Who else have we got? So Florence Hunt is 19, a TV actress, and she appeared in The Cursed. She was in the Netflix series Bridgerton and in Cursed. So Bridgerton's set in England. Oh, cats are having a little spat. Always entertaining with the cats. You never know what they're going to do. Haven't seen Bridgerton. Is it any good? Have you seen it? December the 25th, 2020. So it's a little bit old there. And Cursed. What's Cursed about? A modern reimagining of the Arthurian legend sees a young woman who is destined to become the enigmatic Lady of the Lake. Well, that makes a change. Something like that, you'd think she's going to be King Arthur. The series was filmed on location in Deepcut, England, and it's based on a graphic novel of the same name by Frank Miller. Frank Miller also gave us Sin City and, was it 300? Yeah, so quite a prolific graphic novel artist and storyteller there. So for Frank Miller, his first paid illustration job was drawing for the Twilight Zone comic book in 1978. And that's something that I have considered with my own books, is trying to make them into a comic and then adapt the comics for Blender and then make them into films. I've got to write the next episodes of Echoes of Betrayal, so they'll be coming up very soon. The reason why they're not there at the moment is because I haven't written them yet. Are you going to come up? I've got a black and white cat and he's really grumpy. No. Missed him. He might come up in a second. Yeah, I had this because I've started to use Blender to create some animations, and I've put one or two of them up here on the channel with the intention of developing it into a 10 or 15 minute series called The Salamander. I've got the characters in mind, I've written some of the scripts, and what gave me the inspiration, continues to give me the inspiration, is a series on here it's called Obsolete, and it's a Doctor Who series, and they've done one episode so far, all of it made in Blender, based on Daleks. And that kind of, when I could see the quality of the animation for that, that's really kind of inspired me to try and do something similar with my own stories. So they'll be coming very soon. I'm hoping to have the first episode done by about September. I think that's a realistic time frame. And I'm in contact with a 3D model artist who's going to be doing the characters for me. I've got some of the basic ship designs sorted out. Some of the little edits, if you like, will be going up as shorts very soon. But I digress. Celebrity birthdays. So that's Florence Hunt's, and who else is it today? Paul Mescal 30. So he was in Normal People and After Sun in 2022. Is he British or? I'm not sure. Stranger Things. Have you seen Stranger Things season 5? And if you have, what did you think? I held off until all of the episodes were available, and then I binged watched them. And I understand the frustration with the story and how it went off course a little bit, but overall, I didn't think it was that bad. It's reasonable. I think it could have been so much more. I think they could have delved into things differently. I'm glad they didn't go down a time travel route, because with the clocks and everything from season four, I got the impression that that's how they were going to try and undo a lot of the things that Vanka had done by time travel, because of the dimensional side of things. So I'm pleased that they didn't use time travel. But what done it for me was the time gap from the start of season five and from the end of season four to the start of season five. It didn't narratively make a lot of sense to have this whole village and town in ruins, and the military just come in and encase it in with a fence, and that's it. Got to put these little steel bits of steel on the floor and cover up the cracks and tell people not to go down there. Would they really do that? I mean, I know the 80s, they certainly wouldn't have done that. And so there were some creative choices that I felt let the series down as a whole. Linda Hamilton, what was the point of her character? There was this big thing where, oh, we've got Linda Hamilton in for season five, and I don't think she impacted the series at all. The character that she had could have been played by anybody, really. And I think it was more of a sake of having a name, a quick top name attached to season five, which was unnecessary because they already had a quality cast anyway. So I was disappointed with her character. It was interesting that she played a slightly villainous kind of person, but overall, disappointed. And I think this is the whole thing with season five. It has left a lot of people just meh. It wasn't great, and they could have done so much more with the final. What would I have done differently? I think I probably would have had more of a crescendo at the end. I mean, the mind flayer didn't really play a part in the series at all. The demigorgons, they can either kill them or they can't kill them. They just can't make up their mind. One minute they're indestructible, the next minute they just trip over their own feet and die. So I don't think it was rushed like Game of Thrones was. Game of Thrones season 8 was completely rushed. They cut everything short and that. I don't think they rushed it. But I don't think they put a lot of thought into it either. They kind of sewed up some of the loose ends, but they could have done so much better with it. And on to the next series. One series that I watched last year was Three Body Problem, based on a series of books, and that was thoroughly enjoyable. They're going to do another season. It's intriguing because you have this alien species they're coming to invade Earth basically, but they've sent these probes ahead of time, and they've used like virtual reality across the time and space to connect with humans and kind of get a feel for us as a species. And there's still that time gap. They're about 200 years away before they reach Earth, but obviously with the speed of light and the messaging, we already know that they're en route. So it's now set up that we're going to be preparing ourselves for this war in 200 years' time. I'm intrigued to see what they do with season 2 with that. It's called Three Bodied Problem. Really great cast, really well written, and the series of books apparently are quite detailed and complicated to read. You need to be scientifically minded in order to be able to understand them. So I think that could potentially be another big hit for Netflix. Now that season Stranger Things is finished, I think some people might be questioning whether or not it's worth carrying on with Netflix, because now you've had that finale. It doesn't appear to be many big hitters on the streaming service at the moment to warrant paying the fee all the time. That will possibly change if the Warner Brothers sale goes through and they do end up purchasing Warner Brothers. But at the moment, that's kind of gone to court, and they're a big rivalry. Paramount are really putting their foot down, putting in a massive offer much more than what Netflix have offered. So it's going to be intriguing over the next 18 months or so as that all kind of develops. So, and that's it. That's where I'm going to draw a line for today. Now, if you want to join me, I will go again. I'll go live again tomorrow morning, and once I get into the swing of these again, they'll be a bit more professional and a bit more organised. But anyway, today was just really about getting in front of the camera again and chatting to you guys and seeing what you're up to. I'm all right. Got a few questions. Hiya. I'm from England and I'm just outside London, so that's where I'm at. Where are you from? And what's the weather like? It's grey and damp at the moment, so. There's approximately an 8-second delay, so when you type me a message, it doesn't show up on my screen for about 8 seconds. So if you're wondering why there's a little bit of a delay between responses, that's why. So I'll give you a couple of seconds if you want to reply. Otherwise, I'm going to call that it for today. And as I say, I'll be a little bit more organised for tomorrow. My plans now are to carry on writing Echoes of Betrayal, and we've got quite a pivotal point to make now, and carry on with the second third of the series. So if you haven't done so, please do check out Echoes of Betrayal. It's my latest series. If you wish to support me, then please like, share and subscribe. And if you really want to support me, then if you go to my website, wayneblinco.com, and the link is on my bio, you can go to Amazon or ebook platform and buy a copy of my book. That'd be really cool. In the meantime, take care, and I'll be back tomorrow. I'll see you then. Cheers. So I've just got to switch this thing off now.